do this. Good morning, everyone. So as you can see, I've been playing with glitter and eyeliner and all sorts of things. But today what we're doing is a long ago promised eyebrow tutorial. I've just been so busy with different things that I just haven't had the chance to actually sit and do this. So I tend to use a lot of different products for my eyebrows, but at the moment I'm really loving eyebrow pencils. So today I'm going to be using, let me just see if I can, some of the writing's worn off. Well, anyway, it's the Makeup Revolution XX Extra Fine Brow Pencil, and I believe this one is either in ash brown or ash blonde. So this pencil, really microfine. It's one of those microfine ones. And what I've already done before I put on all this eyeshadow, of course, is I just lined where I wanted my eyebrows to go, and then did some eye primer, and then I've done my eye look. So now what we're going to do is we're going to carve out the final shape for the eyebrows. So what I'm going to do is I've wound out my little pencil, and I have a tendency to wind things out really far and then they break off, so just be careful of that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start up here on the high point of my eyebrow where I want the eyebrow arch to go. So what I'm doing is I just put my pencil there and I'm just using short strokes, and I'm like pulling back towards where the eyebrow tail is going to go. Now the eye look that I'm doing today, the eyebrows actually meet up with this line here, so that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm gently just pulling back with the short strokes until I'm happy with, one, where the position of the eyebrow tail is and the level of colour that I want. Because I want the end here of my eyebrow to be darker than here, I will probably layer a lot of product in this area here, but then not so much over here. So I'm just going to keep going back towards that tail, and you can see that arch shape appearing. And now I'm just I'm increasing the point where I'm starting to draw, getting closer to this area here. So what I'm actually doing is each time I'm coming a little bit this way, I'm kind of overlapping the product to that end bit where I want the product to be the darkest. So I just keep going until I'm happy with this bottom outline, if you like, of the eyebrow shape. And I actually bring it down to meet the edge of my nose. So as you can see, I've got a line running from the edge of my nose here to where it meets up with my makeup. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start where this top part of my eyebrow starts to incline, like that. So that's the shape we're going to be after, and then when it hits the peak here, I'm going to start declining it backwards. So I'm just going to start in the middle of my brow here, and again, just pull back with short strokes. As you can see, we've almost just about hit the peak there. And it kind of just naturally curves around to where it's meant to go, if that makes sense. So I just pull down, which creates the eyebrow tail like that. And then I just run it along here, but see where my eyebrow starts to get quite sparse? I stop there because that's where I want it to be lightest. So I only run that top line to about there, which is level with the corner of my nose, if that makes sense. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to start filling it in. Because we want this end here to be the darkest, we'll start there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just following that line of slant down, and I'm just using small strokes to like colour it in, if you like. But then when I come up here to meet this line here, I'm kind of stopping. Just like that. Now, once I get to here, I'm going to start pulling backwards again like I did when I created that line, but I'm actually going to fill it up towards that top line. And then, if I need to, I'll just go over this bit here in that diagonal way that I did before, until I've got the eyebrow shape that I want and it's completely filled in. I'll just come a bit closer so that you can see. There's a little bit of a gap here, so I'm just going to keep running my pencil along it. Little short strokes, because that gives you more control. Like so. And I just like to flick it down that way a little bit. So that's the eyebrow tail. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in, but only up to this point again. And then we're going to create some of those little fine brow hairs, which is why these microfine pencils are really good. So I'm just running it along that line there, but I'm not filling down. Just running it along that top area there. And then I start a little bit further back as I fill it down, so that there's less colour at this point here and more colour along this end. So I'm just starting a little bit back again. And again. Like that. So there's less colour, little bit more colour still, and then the most colour up here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to create those little fine hairs. So what I usually like to do, I like to anchor my hand here next to my nose, and then I put the point of the pencil on that bottom line that we created, and I just flick it up. Just like that. Again, using small short strokes, but I just flick it up until it fills in that area there. And then what I do is I just keep coming along here, but as I get closer to my nose, the pressure that I'm using gets lighter, so I'm not adding as much product. And I just go right along until I reach the end of that line, and you can actually go over it and angle back this way so it looks like the hairs are joining this bit here. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. What we're going to do now is we're just going to brush it through with our spoolie. Now usually all pencils have this on it, or you can actually buy like a combination eyebrow brush and comb, you know, just from the $2 shops and that. So with this bit here that's closest to my nose, where I want the least amount of colour to be, I just brush straight up, because I want those little fine hairs to stand up there, but I don't want too much colour on them. And then when I get to this bit here, I'm actually brushing backwards towards the tail of the eyebrow, because I want to evenly distribute the colour towards the back of the eyebrow here, but I also want those little tiny fine hairs to lay down flat and go that way, if that means anything to you. Now I've just seen here that the colour's still a little bit light in this area, so I'm just going to actually add some more. And that's the good thing about these pencils, is that you can just build as much as you want. Now I'm really happy with the shape. I don't think I need to do any cleanup around it with concealer. Normally what I would do, if I was doing an eye look that wasn't up so close to my eyebrow, I would put that concealer underneath to make like a sharp edge. But today I'm not going to do that, just because of the look that I'm going for. What we're going to do now is we're going to add some brow gel just to keep those brow hairs in place. You can actually get tinted brow gel as well, but I usually tend to use clear, because sometimes I'm doing lighter eyebrows, sometimes I'll do dark brows, sometimes I'll even do coloured brows. So I use the clear because it's not dependent on what colour I'm using. So again, like we did with the spoolie, because this has got a little mini spoolie on the end, these hairs closer to the nose, we're just going to brush them straight up, because we kind of want them to like stand alone there, if that makes sense. Just like that. And I usually give them a couple of seconds to dry and set, because when I brush through this bit here, I don't want to displace them. Now this bit here, we just brush along, and then I just like to angle it down a bit like that. And that's it. That's literally it. Now, I'm going to be getting some more brow products over the next couple of months. Like I'm going to be getting some brow pomade and some brow powder. So what I will do is I'll update this tutorial for each new product, so that then you know how I do them with pencil, how I do them with pomade, how I do them with powder. Okay, so sorry it took me so long to record this tutorial, and if you have any questions or you would like me to post something else that you're having trouble with, just let me know down in the comments, and thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.